Earlier this year, before COVID-19 hit, Tesla stock almost breached the $1,000 per share ceiling. But once the pandemic was recognized as a real threat to the world economy, Tesla shares tanked along with the market. But since hitting the floor in mid-March, Tesla has been roaring back stronger than before, despite Elon Musk himself saying Tesla shares were overvalued. And so today I want to share with you guys on why that is and why I think Tesla will continue to soar throughout this month. The answer is actually very simple. It's because Tesla is very close to being eligible to be included in the S&P 500 index. So first, let's take a look at the eligibility requirements for a company to be added to the index. Number 1, it must be a US company, and Tesla meets that requirement because it's an American company headquartered in California. Number 2, the market cap must be $5.3 billion or more. Again, Tesla meets this requirement because it has a market cap over $200 billion. Number 3, the public float must consist of at least 50% of outstanding shares. What this means is that at least half of all Tesla stocks that exist must be able to be publicly traded, and this is called a company's float. For Tesla, that number is 79.63%, so it passes that requirement as well. The next requirement is that the stock must have an active market and must trade for a reasonable share price. Tesla stock is trading at a very high volume, with over 14 million shares being traded over the past 3 months. And for being at a reasonable price, I'm not sure of this criteria because Tesla only started putting out a profit in the last few quarters. And then the last criteria is the company must have reported positive earnings in the last 4 most recent quarters. Simply put, the company needs to have been profitable for 1 year. And so far, Tesla has achieved profitable quarters in the last 3 quarters. So if they do post a positive profit in the next quarter, in the next earnings report, it will meet the last requirement. And the reason people are so excited for this stock this month is because Tesla is announcing its Q2 earnings for 2020 this month. Tesla did announce its deliveries for the quarter earlier this month, and it beat analysts' expectations by 20 to 30%, with over 90,000 vehicles being delivered, despite having its Fremont factory not producing any cars for about a month in the quarter. And with Tesla producing a profit of $283 million last quarter with 88,400 deliveries, unless something crazy happens, it is highly likely that they will produce another quarter of profits that would meet the criteria of being profitable for 4 straight quarters. So if Tesla is added to the index, how much of its shares will make up the index? The S&P 500's value is calculated using a free float method, and I will go over that calculation in detail in a future video, so make sure that you are subscribed with the notification bell icon turned on. Looking at the latest numbers, if Tesla was to be added to the index today, it will make up about 0.802% of the index. That may seem small, but you have to understand that the total market cap of the S&P 500 companies make about 80% of all US companies and is valued at over $25 trillion. So investors are expecting share prices to rise once Tesla makes it into the S&P 500 index. The only problem I see right now is that the share price is way too high to meet the subtle criteria that everyone seems to be ignoring, that the share price must be reasonably priced. Even if Tesla does post another profitable quarter, its annual income is only about $1.2 billion, which gives it a PE ratio in the low hundreds. Even though Tesla is rapidly improving its operations and it has a very limited competition in the EV space at the moment, I don't see the index adding Tesla right away at these prices. I think what will happen is that Tesla will post another quarter of profits, the prices will pop up, and then once people realize that the price was set too high for it to be joining the index, it'll come down to a more reasonable price. And eventually, I do think that it is very possible that Tesla will be added to the index once the bubble has popped a little bit. So those were my 2 cents on what I think will happen to Tesla's stock price this month. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in my next video.